Hello, I'm Ren, ex-my-carded X, or Connor, and welcome back to Paintober, day 27. We're kind of getting towards the end of October here. Finishing up with a whole bunch of these models. I'll be free somewhat to do other things. Anyways, we have a Glyphid Praetorian here from the Deep Rock Galactic board game. I'm throwing on some Caliban green, and I'll do some highlights later with some various colors, but for now, we just want to mainly build that green up on a lot of these areas I've painted here. You have very clearly noticed that he's a little bit messed up on the body scale with everything being white or black right now. That was because I was attempting to work with my airbrush and trying to do something that it's something, I guess. I don't know. It turned out to be something. But that's all right. It's not the worst thing, I guess. But he's turning out okay. Yeah. Yep. What an interesting month it has been so far in painting and seeing the various creatures and people that we've been working on. And very different genres of things as well, I feel. That good old medieval fantasy stuff with the Crimson Abbot, as well as the Harvest Terror. This with the weird sci-fi bugs, the Storm Pride Sisters, and Sergeant Galvanus, and all that shit for the for the Warhammer aspect of it. It's been quite a lot of stuff. Maybe next year, if I do this again, I will probably change how I do it. Most likely I'll have maybe a whole new list of miniatures that I can paint. I might just change it to where I do themed settings, like, oh, it's a fantasy theme, so all my miniatures are fantasy, or sci-fi themed, so it's this. But that's obviously, years in between that time and now, so you never know. Never know what you're going to wind up doing content-wise whenever you do this sort of stuff and what it's going to look like later down the line. This kind of light bluish color is Sotek green, which is an interesting color because it is slightly greenish, but it just turns out real blue, I guess. But I mean, once I start adding a whole bunch of that other stuff on, it'll look very, very different from how it looks now. Also, Sotek green is just such a nice color. It reminds me a lot of like a frost color. But it's going on. It's going on there. It's looking nifty. And then once I do a lot more of that green stuff later down the line, it does start tacking on quite well, I think. But for now, it looks blue. Maybe like a tinge of green in there. But or maybe like, what's the word of it? It's like a seafoam green, it just looks kind of bluish, or like a turquoise to me. But yeah, it doesn't look half bad. I do throw later here in a little bit. I throw a little bit of what was it? I think it's Xandri dust for the beak, or like the fleshy part of the beak, and I have to do some weird stuff for my Rakarth flesh to do the teeth, because I really like Rakarth flesh as a color. It's just such a nice, like, cream color. I love it on capes. I love it on models. But it's my paint has run its course. It's run its life, and I think it's one of those I've had for 7 years that it needs a re-up on it. Maybe I'll pick up some Vallejo or Two Thin Coats or something like that. I don't know. It's just hard to figure out. You know what? Somebody probably has a chart for what colors turn into what, comparison-wise and stuff like that. Maybe I'll look into something along those lines. Also, I probably need to do that thing that a whole bunch of people have done where they've transformed their Citadel paints into those little containers so that way they don't dry out nearly as bad and they have the little ball inside. Just so that way you can rattle it the hell up and get it sorted. Get it properly mixed around. I've thought about doing that quite a lot, actually. I just have yet to follow through with that. Mainly because it's work. That's the downside of it. And sometimes whenever you're painting, if it's been a long day or you're starting your day with painting, at least for me, you just want to get it as started as quickly as possible, or you want to have it finished as quickly as possible. For this month, it has been kind of I want it to be finished as quickly as possible because I don't like having to do something like I've had to do with this, I feel. Whereas like other series, I can record something and I can schedule it and I'm like, that's cool, that's fine, we'll leave that alone. But for this, it's felt very much like I need to get it painted, And it's probably because I didn't have a backlog to edit and do all that stuff with, it's my own fault, really. But I'm working my way into having some more videos here to upload. I probably won't finish up the sororitas for this month, though. I don't know. Well, I've got a couple of days left. I've got the last 2 days are going to be special ones because it'll be similar to the Crimson Abbot or the Harvest Terror. So we're going to have 3 little dudes and a big guy, like we've done so with the previous episodes like that. But just look forward to seeing that new one, honestly. That one's going to be kind of interesting. It's a pretty big model, so I've got probably a full day of painting ahead of me. I know the Abbot I think took me about 5 hours to do. And I don't know, it's a good model, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like it was that crazy, but I don't know, maybe it was. Maybe it was, and I'm just putting myself down. I did a dry brush of Cyberite on all of the blue pieces, and I've done a highlight of Caberite on all of the green pieces, and now I'm throwing in some, I don't know what it's called. I don't have it in front of me. I can look it in my drawer real quick. It is Hexwraith Flame, because I want it to go into all those little recesses and keep that light green towards the top, and then it looks a little bit more greenish, I guess. I don't know. I thinned it down a little bit so that way it would go into a lot of the recesses and stuff, but it does make it look a little bit better in terms of like green stuff compared to the one I have had painted, which I don't know you can see it on the camera yet, but yeah, look at this guy, the Glyphid Praetorian. I probably could have done a little bit of shading on the teeth, but that's okay. And there's a few pieces there that I need to go back through and do some cleanup. I didn't do anything with his actual rock base, his tactical rock. So, all right. I've been Ren X, my card at Dexter Connor. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.